Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into an episode of our series called Blackness. For those who don't know, my name is Zion Kenyana, and for our returning listeners, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode. This is now our third episode in the series, and I'm really excited to finally be sharing it with you all. For those who may not know, or for those who may be tuning in for the first time, this is our series called Blackness, founded under the Zexel Initiative. And just to give you a quick synopsis, Blackness is a podcast series focused on the complexity of Black identity and, really the freedom for us to define it on our own terms. Oftentimes society tries to label what Blackness can be or limit what Blackness can be. And, this podcast is very much a venture to demonstrate that we define it ourselves. It could really look like anything. And, And with that being said, today on the show, I do have a very amazing creative, someone who I've happened to meet through my undergraduate time at ASU. And I think they're a really great person who demonstrates, this theme of, the complexity of Blackness. So with that being said, our guest today on the show is Mr. Tobi Aluko. And for those who may not know who Mr. Tobi is what I like to call a true creative at heart. He's one person that just can't be boxed in by really like one label or one defining trait. He's very much someone who has a hand in almost any creative field that you can think of. Just to give you a general rundown, Tobi is a student at ASU. He is a DJ that he does on the side. He is also the founder of Culture Kitchen Arizona, which is a really cool collective. I suggest you check them out. Links will be in the description below. He's a member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and he also is a model. So that's like that, I feel, should pretty much give you a sense of how much he's doing right now. And he's also an artist. He actually just released his new album called Bigger Boy. Feel free to check it out in the description. And he's just, like I said, he's just someone who has his hand in a lot of creative fields, and it's just very much a testament to what we try to demonstrate on this show, which is, Blackness isn't just something that can look like one way. I feel like Tobi's experiences and kind of what he's doing is very much a demonstration that, Blackness is something that's very much complex and fluid. And like I said, when just looking at his portfolio, I knew I had to have him on the show, and I'm super excited for you guys to hear from him. So with that being said, I'm gonna quit the yapping. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys enjoy, and thank you so much. All right, y'all, thank you so much for joining me for another episode. Today, I have the pleasure of being with Mr. Tobi Aluko. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, word. I have the pleasure of being with him in the studio today. So go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, give us the whole...
My name is Tobi Aluko. I'm from Nigeria. I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. I moved to the U.S. back in 2015, December 2015. And, I moved to Indianapolis. I went to high school in Indiana. Then, I graduated, came to college here in AZ. I didn't really have anybody here in AZ, so I wanted to kind of get out of my comfort zone. So that's why I came to AZ and just came here for to study mechanical systems engineering, and just really wanted to, as an African, is either three. I either got to pick engineering, doctor, or lawyer type, So I did that. I chose to be an engineering student, and then as like my freshman year, as that progressed, I was like, I want to kind of do something more. I want to make more of myself just outside of just being an engineering student. Being Black, being on poly, on the poly campus, there's not a lot of Black students.
You're on the poly campus?
Yeah.
Hey, okay.
So then, there are not a lot of Black students there, so I needed to make something myself. So I wanted to kind of be involved in college, but also like be involved, not just student orgs. So I started cutting hair. I was a barber, building that skills, being a barber, but I wanted something more. So, I picked up DJing, and that, I've always wanted to be a model since I was younger. So, just coming to AZ and just being the only one, nobody here or anybody to, I'm in control of my life now, turning a new leaf from leaving Indiana and coming here. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for it. So, started going for that. Started modeling, picking up gigs here and there. Um, and that's it. I think I consider myself a creative, someone who just really works hard and goes for what he wants. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a lot to unpack there, man. So you said you moved to the US in 2015?
Mhm.
Okay, for sure. How old were you when your family moved?
Yeah, I was 12. I was 12. I moved with my mom and my sister.
Okay, for sure. If you don't mind me asking, what was that like?
I say it was definitely like a big culture shock for sure. Like, I mean, I remember when I came to America, like that was the first time I seen snow. I ain't seen snow before. So like, yeah, I was like, wow, like this is snow type. So like, that was that. And coming to school, I think when I started going to school, that was really the main, like trying to really assimilate to that. Cause like, um, the school that I went to was predominantly black. Like it was very diverse. It was a lot of black students, black Mexicans, like even the white people were like close to black type, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, being an African and like I had a thick accent back then. So it's just like I'll listen to all the kids close out, okay, this is how they talk. And I'll be like, I'll say I'll try to mimic like how they were talking and stuff. So that was that. Even like I feel like back in Nigeria, the way school was, it was very strict, very like you got to wear this exact clothing. You got to wear a belt. You gotta wear these certain pants. You gotta wear uniforms. You can't grow out your hair. Girls too couldn't really grow out their hair. It depends on the school, but most times girls they can only braid their hair back or they have a low cut just like everybody else. That's how it was.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they used to whoop us too back in school.
No, that's something I do remember, bro.
They used to whoop us back in school and like I was used to that. It's nothing crazy. Like assemblies, we go there every morning, praise and worship right before we start class and stuff. So like that was that. And just like shifting to where it's like, there's not really like there is consequences, but there really isn't consequences at the same time. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't strict. You can wear what you wanted to wear. You can grow out your hair how you wanted to grow it out too. So, it's like adjusting to that, then also adjusting to the culture of being black,
Mm.
the swag that comes with being black. You know what I'm saying? What it's like to be a black person. I had to also assimilate it because I'm black, but like I'm not, I didn't grow up in a American type of, you know what I'm saying, culture. So it's like something like that where it's like, okay, so this is how it's done here in America type stuff, you know what I'm saying? How to talk, how, just, the way
Those
it is,
social things you
the
got to pick
social
up
things
on.
you have to
Yeah.
do, yeah.
Nah, that's what's up. So you talk about, coming here, finding that newfound freedom. How did that go over with trying to, like assimilate to, the culture here and also like, still having your family, you know what I'm saying? Cause like, yeah, y'all are in a new environment, you're in this a new American system, but like, what was that dynamic between like, trying to assimilate, but also trying to still like respect the boundaries your parents had set for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, like when we moved there, I only came with my mom and my sister. My dad was back in Nigeria because he had like business back there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, um, I mean, I was in Nigeria since I was 12. So like those core principles of being African, being Nigerian is already instilled in me. You know what I'm saying? So like having that and coming here is just like, it's more like, okay, like I was born and raised as an African Nigerian man. And it's like, okay, outside, like I'm still going to be myself regardless. But like, how can because I mean, I was younger back then. I think I started sixth grade. Cause back in Nigeria, I was in like 2 grades higher. I was about to go into the senior level, but they're like, nah, you gotta go back to sixth grade. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but the funny thing was that the kids in sixth grade was my age. So like, I wasn't really tripping about that. So it was just like, okay, kids here, like the black kids here act differently than the kids back home. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, let me learn the lingo, let me learn the manners, let me learn, what it is of, what it's like being black here in America because like my skin is black regardless. I'm going to be treated like any other black person, in society. So it's like, how can I really adapt to this? Because I am black, you know what I'm saying? How can I really adapt to that? How can I assimilate? So it's like learning from the kids in school, But like I'll go back home, I'll be, I'm normal. Like I'm speaking in it's like back to my normal accent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I come to school, I gotta switch it up. I go back, I gotta switch it up. So it's like that's how it really was. And I used to go to church too. So the church I used to go to, it was like a majority white. So that was another type of code switch I had to do.
Where?
Whereas like, okay, when I'm around the black kids or like me, this how I'm gonna talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning how to talk like them so I can kind of like, you know, fit in or things like that. Then like I'll go back home, normal, my accent, everything. Then I had to go to church and I gotta like,
Put a little
put a
like
little, put a little dazzle in my voice type stuff. So it was kind of learning from the different environments that I was in and just kind of knowing, okay, how to kind of code switch, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I feel you that I feel like that's a cruel reality. Not necessarily cruel. I feel like it's dependent on the person, but I feel like that is a reality that a lot of people do have to deal with is, kind of that code switching, what I'm saying, just having to switch between cultures. So I guess my question to you is how did that play a role into like how you were feeling internally? I know for me, and like other people, just like when it comes to like that code switch and stuff, I guess there's a sense of like feeling sad or feeling a little down that, I wish I could just show up as my authentic self and be accepted regardless. How do you feel like that was for you? Was that something you kind of internally struggled with, or were you kind of just straight?
Yeah, I feel like most definitely because like I I feel like I came at the worst time. That was like when the Ebola thing was going on.
Oh
And
yeah.
man, everybody was on me tight, like, you know what I'm saying? So I will say I definitely got bullied a lot back in elementary, sixth grade when I first came. So it was like, okay, how can I get to the point where I'm not getting bullied for being African anymore? I think that was the main thing. So like, you know, how can I dress a certain way so I don't get bullied for the clothes that I'm wearing? Or, say, how can I talk so I'm not bullied for my accent? You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So I'll say those are the struggles that I was having back then when I was younger. Um, so yeah, I think that those are the internal struggles of just like, okay, what can I do? Cause I'm young. What can I do to fit in so I don't get bullied? You get what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, nah, it's crazy now though, because it feels like nowadays things are flipped, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Like
everybody's trying to be African,
I was
everybody's
saying,
trying to like,
if it was the way it is now, like I don't think I would have really like tried to switch up my accent or like I would have been definitely proud of who I am. I'll say back then I definitely wasn't proud. Like I would be like, man, I can't be like I'm from Nigeria. I can't be like I'm African because like, bro, they gon' you know what I'm saying? They're gonna get me. And so it's just like, it was definitely like that was the first time I had that internal struggle of accepting where I was from. You know what I'm saying? But, as time, we all got older and stuff like that. And like, okay, I started to like, I kind of realized like I need to be, around the people that are from where I'm from, so that like, cause like I just didn't I felt like I was not being myself, as time went on. So it's just like, yeah.
yeah. So when do you feel like you really started to come into your own? Like you really started to step into, your culture, who you are. Was that something that you felt came like kind of in high school, or when do you feel like it kind of happened?
Yeah, I would say definitely in high school. I think like sixth grade to like middle school, everybody's still young, so everybody still got something to say about, oh, you African, oh, your accent, this, you that. And, you know, going into high school, it was still there, but it was definitely less. Like, I don't think nobody really cared that much anymore. So it's like, okay, me trying to kind of like regain that sense of my culture, that sense of, pride, that sense of this is who I am. And like, I was still working towards that. It didn't really like really fully like manifest and I became like, okay, I am African. I am this. I'm Nigerian. I'm a Nigerian man, until like my senior year when I really like, because as my confidence started to get better, I really started to embrace who I am. And it really manifested when I came to college, my freshman year where I was like, okay, I'm leaving Indiana. I'm turning a new leaf. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to see the same people I went to high school with. I'm not going to see these faces anymore. Now I can really choose to be the person that I want to be in this life, you know? So when I came to college, I was like, I'm going to embrace everything about myself. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm from, how I speak, the type of food I eat. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna let you know, like, hey, I wanna go eat this African food. I'm trying to go to the African spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wanna
Yeah.
come with me tight? You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Okay, I love that for you, man. I was gonna say, yeah, nah, you're definitely involved in a lot here at ASU. You want to just give a quick rundown of the stuff you're already involved?
Yeah. So here in ASU, like I said, like um turning a new leaf and just coming here and just really building something for myself. Because I came to college saying like, okay, I'm not gonna be no normal college student. I'm not just gonna be going to class, coming back and doing homework and sleep. Like I'm gonna make something of myself. So like I was like, okay, I lived in Poly too, so like I was like, okay, how can I kind of establish myself? So like I said, I started cutting hair on campus. You know, I was like cutting out like the black students like clothes, like cutting all the black people hair on campus. And so after that, I remember like I was getting tapped in with AFSA, so like I was like, oh, AFSA's doing this, AFSA's doing that, because I didn't really know anything.
And for those that don't know, AFSA is the African Student Association at ASU.
Yeah, I would go to Tempe. I started like going to Tempe for the events and stuff. Started showing up to the events, participating in events. So like, okay, people were starting to see my face, like, well, who's this dude type? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I started getting locked in. People, I started kind of like building myself there. So that was that. So freshman year was just kind of me establishing myself. You know what I'm saying? So
And what year is this? 2022, 2021?
this 2022.
Okay.
So after that, like I also started DJing my freshman year too, but like I think I started DJing for like BAC. You know what I'm saying? Like after I started establishing myself a little bit, making connections and just making friends, I was like, I can do this, like showing everybody the skills that I have, and that's where it all started with the whole DJing thing. So, okay, after freshman year, I was like, okay, I want to kind of be involved, like, that now that I'm going to events, I'm really doing all these things. How can I be involved in these student orgs and like make an impact in these student orgs? So, I became an intern for, I think second semester freshman year, I became an intern for AFSA. Um, I was general body for BAC, just like being around and stuff.
We're Black African Coalition for those who don't know.
So, just being there, doing the best that I could, because I think the only org I was in at that time was AFSA. So after that, I started seeing like currently my pro fights now today. I'll see them on campus too. Like my pro Elias, he was the president of BAC at the time. And like, I'll see him, and see what he was doing. And I just remember just like telling him like, yeah, like what's all this about? Like, and that's how I joined my chapter, Mieta chapter, cause I'm an alpha. So, like I wanted to kind of like, I feel like my thought process when it comes to how I view like my life is each year I want to be better than I was last year. Like each year I'm going to be better. So, like, okay, I started just from being on Poly in 2022, going to 2023. I became, the graphic designer for, AFSA. And then, I became a member of the Mieta chapter. And like, I started kind of growing my rapport from there. DJing too. Um, DJing, like, it was more of, cause like DJing wasn't like nothing crazy. Like, it was just like a hobby, something I love doing, you know what I'm
How
saying?
long you been DJing for?
So currently now, I was DJing since 2022. So it'll come down to what, like 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a minute. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But the crazy thing about it is it doesn't feel like that, cause I don't think I didn't put too much pressure on myself, about, oh, I want to make this. It was just a hobby, and it just ended up like I would set mini goals for myself, something like that. Like, okay, my main focus is school. I'm trying to get through this engineering, what I'm saying, degree, but it's like, these are the things that I like doing that's very therapeutic for me. So like, let me set some goals here. So like, I mean, I was young at the time, so I was like 2019, you know what I'm saying? So like, the only thing I could really do was DJ at ASU or DJ a couple parties here and there, just put myself out there. Like, like my hobbies I did with cutting hair and with DJing, the first times like trying to put myself out there was more, hey, man, can I DJ your party? Oh man, can I cut your hair, bro? It'll be free. Like that's how I was doing it to put myself out there. So, you know, start doing things for free and, I would like start establishing myself. But like, I was like, okay, by my sophomore year, like when I got to my sophomore year, I was like, okay, I've established myself in ASU a little bit. I want to kind of like branch out. I want to go into the community. You know what I'm saying? Like, cutting hair was going good, but like, I was just like, I think I can do a little more. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, I just like cutting hair was good, but it was more like it wasn't like a priority for me or anything anymore. It was just like, okay, because my main goal for cutting hair was just I just wanted to learn how to cut my own hair. It happened to just go to a way where I was cutting other people's hair. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, okay, if you remember I cut hair, you can hit me up and I'll still make money from it. Cause like towards the end of my freshman year, I remember like I didn't have a job. So that last couple weeks, everybody's going back home. So they were like, come to hit me up. So that's like what had me like eating for like that last week. Cause that's what I was literally living off of. So, with the other stuff, I just wanted to kind of like be better. I wanted to branch out. I wanted to grow, just outside of ASU. So, through the student orgs and stuff, like that's how I was kind of networking outside of the community, to the community. And, I remember so AFSA had this, event for the summer, right before the summer was about to end. It was a day party for like the college students and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll DJ because my friends, everybody knew I started DJing. So like, hey, can you DJ this? Like you open for us and everything. I was like, bet. And I was like, okay, there was a promoter. His name is Jesse. And one of my friends knew him. So I was like, okay, I want to branch out this community. Let me go network with him. You know what I'm saying? And let me see if I can just, never nothing crazy. Let me just see if I can DJ for your promotion team. You know what I'm saying? And like, I did that. I literally went up to him. Like, I think that's what's really changed my philosophy in life is like, if you want something, you're going to go get it. You can't really sit there and just expect something to come to you. So I literally just went up to him when he came. I was just like, hey man, I'm trying to, I ain't gonna lie. I just want to talk to you. I'm trying to DJ for y'all, stuff like that. Cause, and like, he was like, okay, bet. Like, we'll talk later with you. I was like, bet. And, after the event was over and stuff, I got his contact and everything. And then he called me and he was like, you can, you can DJ, but I think like you'll make more money promoting, you know? So, uh, I started, I started promoting with him, you know, but like through that, I was able to kind of like, that became a gateway for me to do my own thing. So I started, okay, making my own events through that promotion team. Did an event called Afro Color where like after, like during that summer, you know, and it's led to what I'm doing today, which is Culture Kitchen. I kind of branched it. I was like, okay, um, seeing just kind of learning from what I've learned from the promotion side and what I've learned for DJ. I'm someone I like to do my own thing, man. Like I just feel like I'm not somebody who likes to. I'm patient, but I don't like to wait for things to give it to me or to fall in my lap. I'm gonna like, okay, if I want something, I'm gonna do my own thing. So I just made my own thing called Culture Kitchen, and it's going good now. So it's just like the progression, you know, for just going for what you want, you know, and that applies to even with school too, like wanting to get an internship, just like it's a numbers game. You got to keep applying, fix up your resume, see what works. And I feel like that's how I'm just applying to every single aspect of my life, where whatever thing I'm going into, I'm applying, okay, be intentional, be proactive. So yeah, man.
Yeah, no, that's a lot, man. That's some good stuff. Yeah, no, I think it's very interesting how it starts off with something so small, like you just cutting hair, and how that led to, eventually you being involved in ASFA, and then, you eventually becoming involved in the BSC, and then it led to you, party promoting, DJing, now Culture Kitchen. So I think that's absolutely fire, bro. I'm trying to think where to where to start from all that. You said you were what was your major again?
I'm a mechanical systems engineer.
For those who don't know what that is, could you kind of give like a little bit of an explanation on what that field does?
Yeah, so basically mechanical systems is just like mechanical engineering, but like you're kind of more into the systems aspects of it also. So you're working on blueprints, you're working on um systems, automation, you're working on just everything that goes behind how to, designing whatever product you're doing, but also getting it out there and how can it sustain, you know, society, or how society uses whatever you make or whatever you do. So that's kind of really what it is. It's a combination of systems engineering and mechanical engineering.
How long would you say that you knew that you wanted to do that? Like, was that something in high school that you thought about? Like, I really think I'm gonna do this, or like, how would you kind of come there?
Yeah, I feel like since I've been in Nigeria, it was like, okay, I've always thought about, okay, wanting to be an engineer. That's just something that, like, if I was to go to college or anything, I was gonna go to college. It's just like, yeah, I want to be an engineer. Like, nothing else really can. I mean, like, sometimes I think about it to this day. Like, if I was to pick two things that I wanted to do when I went to college, I either wanted to be but this thought started in high school. I either wanted to be a cosmetic surgeon, like a Dr. Miami, or an engineer. And I was like, man, I'm not trying to do 8 years in school. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to engineer.
Or what made you want to like possibly consider being the next Dr. Miami? Was it just the money, or was it?
Man, I don't even know. Like, of course, the money, but like outside of the money, it was just more like it's just something I saw myself do. I just feel like I would be a really cool cosmetic surgeon. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like that's my personality. I feel like I have a personality of, like, I'm very outgoing. I'm very, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm that type of guy. So
Now, coming to college, do you feel like your vision is still pretty clear in terms of where you see yourself in this field, or?
yeah, I said, yeah, definitely my vision's very clear. But one thing I've kind of realized with life is, like, you don't know where life will take you. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like life and God have, big plans for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know I would be DJing. I didn't know I'd be doing all these things when I came to college, man. Like, freshman year, I'm thinking, or not even freshman year, high school, senior year, high school, before I came to college, I'm just thinking, I'm going to be a normal college student. I'm just going to be doing this. I'm just going to be doing that. But, like, I feel like once an idea comes into your head, you gotta take it. That's my whole philosophy on my life and how I want to run it is, if an idea comes into my head, no matter how small, no matter how big, I'm gonna go after it. You know, I'm gonna see, okay, is this something that I can do? And I just go for it. So yeah.
That's what's up. So let's get into the culture kitchen, man. So obviously, like we know you're the creator of it, but like what really inspired that idea? I know you talked about, through party promoting and kind of having that experience kind of eventually led you to get in there. But what eventually led you to the decision like, okay, I need to start my own thing?
Um, so basically, like, there's this boiler room that's popular online. It's called Culture FM. So it's just like a lot of DJs, majority like Afro beats, dancehall, amapiano, like they come together, just that African Caribbean, they come together and just play music and everybody's just right behind them, just having fun. And I just loved it. I love the concept of that. And, like, through my promoting stuff, like, I'm a new DJ, I'm a young DJ, I'm coming up. And it's just like, how do I even put it? It's just like, yeah, that's cool, but I want drive. I want, like I said, I want to be better than I was, you know, last year. Like, what can I do right now to give myself that purpose, give myself that drive to make something big for myself? I was like, okay, I'm really going to start dreaming big. I don't ever want to set my thoughts to reality. Like, oh, I'm just going to be realistic about this. So I can do this. I'm not going. I wanted to be a household name. So, like, it just came to my head. I was like, okay, I want to do a boiler room, but I want to do it for, like, the college students on campus. I feel like college students on campus don't really get to really have that type of fun. So we just come together and just have fun. And just also introducing, like, other students to, my culture, the music that we make, things like that. So when, I thought about it and I was like, okay, I'm going to start my own thing. I'm going to do Culture Kitchen. Like, I thought about the name with, Jesse, and we're just kind of like, yeah, Culture Kitchen. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, but, like, I have a timeline for when I do stuff. So it's just like, um, like, I'm the creative over everything I do at Culture Kitchen, you know? So if I need a location at this point, well, okay, I need to get a location at this point. I need to do this, I need to do that. Like, one thing about me, I hate when ideas fester in my mind or like plans fester in my mind. Like, I'm an action person. Like, if I can do something that I have planned in mind tomorrow or tonight, I will literally do it. You know, that's that person I am. So I was just like, okay, I'm not, I'm going to put my resources into this, but like, I'm gonna be on the go. Like, I'm not even, sometimes I try to make things look perfect, but I'm just gonna do it. Cause everything ends up working out, you know? So I, I started there and I just wanted everybody to I just wanted to bring everybody together, you know? I feel like college is so hard on its own already. It's like, man, like, where can everybody go to after exams and just chill and just vibe and be social and have fun? So yeah, that was just really the main thing. Culture Kitchen is really a community. I don't want it to be a household name. I want it to be a movement. I want it to be something super big, you know? So I think that it's definitely on the right track, you know what I'm saying? Bring everybody together and just really showing them what good vibes are, what positive, and you can have fun and it's positive throughout the whole experience, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I think it's beautiful because it's kind of like a full circle moment. You know, I know you talked about struggling with your identity as a kid and not really embracing who you are. So I think now that you're finally embracing that in Culture Kitchen, just stepping forward in who you are, I think that's beautiful that you've been able to like now root yourself in like your culture and your like your stuff, and now you're able to like share with other people. That's fire. Yeah, no, that's so. If you don't mind me asking, so I know you obviously plan on going your engineering track because you're set to graduate next year. But could you possibly see yourself making Culture Kitchen like your main thing, like your main career?
yes, most definitely, most definitely. I feel like, um, engineering and getting a good engineering job, you know? I mean, like, life will take me wherever life takes me. Whatever is meant for me to happen for me will happen, you know? But like, um, Culture Kitchen is a dream of mine.
Mm,
And I want to make that reality. So I want to get a good engineering job, you know, grow in my engineering field and use that because like, I don't have to be bound to just being an engineer. I don't have to bound to just being a DJ, you
mm.
know? Like, I can have multiple sources of income. I can have multiple things that I'm growing, you know? So, I can definitely see that happening if it's something that would, you know, keep me afloat for like, for life, have me set. I don't mind. I don't mind.
That'd
Even
be
like,
fire.
even with the things I'm doing now, just like, even outside of being, I'm someone who's always picking new things up. Like, I started picking up music too. So
Mm.
like, I started making music and I love that. It's
You
very
just dropped a new
therapeutic.
song too.
Yeah. So I just love, it's just personal projects for myself, you know, like
Yeah,
making something on myself. And it feels good that you know, it gives me a purpose, you know, no matter how different or drastic it is from what I'm doing. You wouldn't think an engineering student
will be this
would
turn.
be DJing, making music, cutting hair, doing this. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
crazy, and I love it. I love doing something. You know.
Mm. No, that's beautiful, man. So, if you don't mind me asking, what's your, later down the line, what would you hope your vision for Culture Kitchen to be? Would you want it to be like a national phenomenon type of thing? Do you want to keep it just like local to Arizona, or like how would you, or maybe even like a worldwide thing? What's your like final vision?
Yeah, I feel like I said earlier. I don't want to keep my thoughts and my goals to being realistic.
Mm.
Um, I think I've changed my mindset to thinking as big as it can possibly think. You know. So, and it's all about putting those words out, manifesting it, you know, and being like, okay, have that dream of Culture Kitchen is going to be a worldwide thing, you know. I want Culture Kitchen to be a global phenomenon, you
Yeah.
know. I'm never gonna set myself to the mindset of, man, I just kind of want Culture Kitchen to just be a, you know, Arizona thing. I'm cool. Like, if there is a possibility and a chance, and I think it will be a global thing, you know what I'm saying? If there's a chance it will be, I would take that. I'd rather go that lane.
Moving, on to the next thing, you just said you got into making music. You just released a new song. What was that like last Thursday, or when did you release it?
I think it was, yeah, it had to be this week. I know it was definitely this week. So it was either, I think it was on Tuesday. I think I released,
Okay, yeah, and it was featuring Haley, right?
yeah, it was featuring Haley, yeah. So that was, I think so. I'll say recently like I said, I've always wanted to be better. I want bigger. I want to pick up new things. And, I think I found like like I said, I'm a creative, and I just realized I have a ear for sound. Like, uh, I'm someone who creates, and just being a DJ, you really like, just being a DJ, you really, how do I put it? You really, um, enjoy music on a different level. You really understand music on a different level. And I feel like, yeah, I want to show the world the things that I can do, so, I set a project for myself, and literally the plan was just to make a song, make a nice little video, and just put it out, and that would be it. But like, I was like, I can do so much more than that. So I decided to, make an album. So, yeah, literally I was going to the studio and just like really writing and recording music, and, I also definitely wanted to kind of make it a channel to help others too. So with the music videos, I collab with one of my friends. Her name is Joy. I tell her to come work with me anytime we make these videos, because I feel like she has an eye for, filmmaking and, directing and stuff. So given using Culture Kitchen, using my music videos as a gateway for it to also, doing that. And even with Haley too, like, um putting her talent out there through my stuff too, and putting her on the album, and, just doing that. I'm always, I feel like someone who I feel like I'm someone who wants to also give others the opportunity to be able to, show their talents, and like we all grow together. I think that's my whole thing. I want to grow with others. I feel like, Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome wasn't just built by one person. It's built by multiple people. So, that's what it's all about. You need the help of everybody. I don't think only one person can do this. Like, so, yeah.
No, that's what I think is beautiful about art is that you can, through your own vision, you can also help others, get put on. Like I've known Haley was like a singer, not even necessarily a singer, a rapper, an artist. She's been an artist for a while. So I thought it was really cool that y'all actually like pulled that together. Yeah, that was nice. So, what I'm saying, you just said you have the album on the way?
Yeah.
For sure. If you don't mind me asking, like, what's that looking like? You got a name? You got like a
Yeah.
vision for it?
So it's called Bigger Boy. So it's just kind of like a journey of like, I feel like it's kind of a journey of what I've been through this, mostly this 2024. I think it was definitely like tough time in my life where like I was really learning new things about myself. So I'm just kind of putting it all into that. Like I'm becoming a bigger version of myself. I'm a bigger man now. So like that's what it's all about. It's all about growth and the things and the challenges that I've went through, and just put it into an album and just put it out there for the world to see. So yeah, I'll be releasing it this March, by the end of this March. It's almost close to being done. So I'm gonna release it by the end of this March, hopefully. Yeah.
How long has it been in the works for?
It's been in the works since, if I'll say, I think like last year, but like
Oh, wow.
but it was like probably like October, October of last year. And I was like, okay, like 2025, I'm definitely dropping this. Like the plan in my head was definitely like March. So everything is on the perfect timeline right now. So yeah, everything's coming together. I was very proactive with it. Like I had to really kind of like drop. I realized comparison is a thief of joy, and like yeah, I'm saying, and everybody's art is different. The way everybody expresses themselves is different. So you shouldn't ever compare what you're doing to somebody else, because your path is different, your style is different. You know, So I was like, okay, whatever fear I have, and that's just with life and anything I do in general. You're gonna have doubts. You're gonna have, things like that. And it's just like, okay, I'm gonna put I'm gonna put this work of art out. I'm gonna show people my talents, what I feel like is my talent, and just really, everybody come on this journey with me, you know what I'm saying? And just like understand who Toby is as a person. And I feel like I'm gonna keep doing this stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's like I've already started. Like I'm not gonna stop at this point. I like it's really helped me just working on this album, working on Culture Kitchen, everything I've been doing has really opened my mind to what life really is. If you want your life to be this certain way, you have to change your mindset. You know, you really have to build that relationship with yourself, that confidence, telling yourself I can do this, even though you're gonna have doubts. Because you are not your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? They're just literally just passing by and you choose how that's gonna affect you, you know? So it's just like, I'm already doing this now, man. I'm not gonna stop, you know? So that's kind of the mindset I have, and that's the era that I'm in, you know, right now, where I worked on this album. But this working on this album has really opened my mind to things and like what life is. So this era of my life, that's what Bigger Boy is, and you know, whatever project that I make after, you know, different albums, different EPs or whatever it is gonna be what I'm going through. So if I'm in the era of like, man, I'm turning up, I want to start doing this, that's what the next album is gonna be about.
Yeah.
If I'm sad, that's what it's gonna be about. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Okay, that's beautiful. Yeah, now Lauryn Hill has this quote where she talks about that music is really a culmination of lived experiences. So I think that very much is true. Yeah, no, I'm a nosy person when it comes to music, so I'm probably gonna ask you a few more questions. What's the genre? Like, do you see it being one specific thing? Do you see it being a mix?
So writing music, I've realized like what my style is. I'm mixing Afro, R&B, dancehall. It's like a fusion of Afro beats, dancehall, and R&B. Yeah, it's like my own thing. I think I have a distinct style, you know, and just like from the music that I like, just kind of combining everything together and making that fusion. So it's gonna be a Afro, dancehall, R&B, you know.
That's fire.
So yeah.
That's fire. Do you have any features on it, or is that a secret right now? Is that
Haley's my only feature on it.
okay?
Haley's my only feature on it. So like, yeah, man.
That's good. How many songs can the people expect?
People are gonna expect 10.
10? Okay, that's a good number. Yeah, nah, I feel like sometimes people tend to put too many songs out or overdo it, so I think 10's a good amount.
Yeah, and even like with how long your song is, I've also realized like I'm someone when I'm writing songs now, I'm not about to overextend myself for the songs to be 2 or 3 minutes or anything like that. I feel like I've written what I needed to say in the song. So if the song is 1 minute, the song is 1 minute.
Because that's what it's supposed
Because
to
that's what it's all about. My whatever is in my brain and my thoughts, I've released that into it. So I don't need to add any extra lyrics or this.
I feel you. That preserves that level of authenticity too, because
Exactly.
you're not just making stuff up. Nah, that's beautiful, man. So I think one thing I've noticed with you, music seems to be a very big thing for you. Would you say that's true? Like music is something that
Yeah, I feel like, you know, whatever I put myself into, I make it a big thing. You know, I mean, I do have my priorities, which is school, you know.
Yeah.
But like, I'm tapping into what I think is my talent now. You know, something that I feel like I'm good at, because I do listen to my music on repeat, and I'm like, okay, I actually like this.
Okay,
You
that's
know?
good. Yeah.
So that I feel like that's a good sign. Like, okay, I actually think I make good music. You know?
Yeah, you gotta be able to listen to your own stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's really what it is. Yeah.
Would you say you've always been had a very big love for music, like ever since you were a kid, or is that something you started to appreciate more as you've gotten older?
I think it's something I started to appreciate more as I got older. You know, I like back in middle school, back in high school, yeah, I was writing music here and there, but it was nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? But like through certain experiences that I experienced last year, um, I really put that out. Like I really wrote it down, and like I was like, yeah, like this is something I can do, you know. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring this to life, you know. So that's how I just kind of went to the studio, and I was just like, I'm gonna do this.
Okay. Yeah. That's what's up. Well, all right. Look forward to Bigger Boy.
Yeah,
Bigger Boy coming at you in March. What do we think? Like the end of the month, probably.
yeah, by then.
Okay, by the end of the month. Okay, cool. For a lot of people who currently live in Arizona, you know, Arizona's a predominantly white state still. I mean, well, predominantly Hispanic, but you know, clearly there's a good amount of white people still here, and I feel like a lot of times when specifically like African American people or people of color come, they tend to feel that aspect of like culture shock and things of that nature, and they feel like they have to essentially sort of assimilate, kind of like what you were saying. Even though I know you were in Indianapolis, so for people who may be going through that similar feeling of, feeling out of place or feeling like they have to change who they are, what's some advice or encouragement you could offer to them?
Um, One thing I always tell myself is always know where you're from. Always remember where you're from. And that is who you are. And that's what's going to get you through life by being yourself. I feel like if I wasn't being myself, if I didn't stay true to who I am, I won't be where I am today. So I'll say the advice is always remember where you're from and remember the experiences that make you who you are today. Do not hate the good, the bad experiences that you had to make you who you are today, because without those experiences, you won't be where you are. So, it's just really embrace everything that you go through in life. The bad decisions you made, the good decisions you made, everything that's happened in life is written. It's for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Everything happens for a reason. So it's just really just believing in yourself, having that good relationship with yourself that you can do anything that you put your mind to, and always speak positively about yourself. I think that's my number one thing, is to always speak positively. I always wake up in the morning, I look at myself in the mirror and tell myself it's going to be a good day. I tell myself I'm handsome. I tell myself,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I
Hype
tell
yourself up,
myself,
yeah.
exactly, because if you don't hype yourself up, ain't nobody going to do that. So it's really all about, it's really all about you. You really got to build a good relationship with yourself, because it's your mind. It's what's really going to get, you're going to live with your mind forever, man. So if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, man, your life is going to be hard. And I want to have a good, very good and tight relationship with myself, so that no matter what I go through in this life, I'm always going to push forward. Yeah.
That's beautiful. The next question I would ask is, if you could travel back 4 years, I mean, I know you're a junior, but maybe you could travel back like 3 years, like
hmm
freshman year of college, or maybe even your senior year of high school. What's one piece of advice, you would wish you could share to yourself that you would share with people who are probably in that position today?
Um, I would say just, being kind. You gotta be kind. You gotta be humble. Always be kind to others, man. I just feel like, um, I feel I was kind back then. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, just focus on what's important. I'll say that. Always make sure to focus on what's important. Be true to yourself. Don't change yourself for nobody. And, just keep pushing, because good things are going to come as long as you keep yourself in a positive mindset and have the right people around you, and you be straight.
And then now my last question for you, with this podcast really being rooted in the theme of blackness, what does blackness look like to you? You know what I'm saying? Like the whole point of this series is to demonstrate that you can't really define blackness one type of way. So I'm always just curious to see like what are people's different perspectives on what blackness means to them.
Yeah, I think blackness is unique, man. It's a culture, it's a movement. I think blackness is the experience of being, if of your color, of your skin color being black, man. There's Your color being black. I think it's a blessing, man. Like, I wake up and I'm like, I'm happy I'm black, man. I would never change that in the world for nothing. Like, I wake up and I'm like, man, I'm really black and I love that. Cause we're just so unique. We're so unique. We're good at a lot of things, man. Being black is a blessing. So say blackness is a blessing. I think that's one word I'll say for it. Blackness is a blessing, man. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Toby. I appreciate you. Blackness is a blessing. I can't think of any other perfect way to really end off today's episode other than that quote. Just blackness is a blessing. Amen. Nevertheless, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I know I enjoyed my time getting a chance to sit down with Toby and kind of talk about his journey and some of the things he has going on. Like I said, he's an amazing creative. I highly encourage you guys to check out all of his creative stuff he's doing. Link to Culture Kitchen and his social medias will be in the descriptions below. Also, please check out his new album, Bigger Boy, out on all platforms right now as we speak. He's just a really great artist. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Blackness, and I look forward to talking to you guys next time. Thank you.